Yes, I know. I just posted recently. Guys, I told you I was staying back. But basically, this is my little friend. If y'all know from my recent video. So basically, I want to expose someone, I'm gonna tell y'all basically a story about one of my exes, basically new exes. So basically, a few days ago, or
Recent ex.
yeah, recent ex. We're gonna say that type of thing. Basically a few days. Basically, this started all within a few weeks of dating. Okay, few date weeks. Oh my god, help. Okay, this started all within a few weeks of dating. Basically, me and let's just call her by her actual name, Maddie. Um, I used to call her Adore because that's what I knew her by. Because but she told me to call her Maddie, so I was like, okay, I called her Maddie. Basically, I'm gonna call her Maddie. Y'all can call her Adore, whatever. Basically, Maddie and me met sometime in June or May. I can't remember, like the end of May and or the start of June. I cannot remember. Because I was doing ADC little high schools, because everybody loves those. And I was like, okay, so I wanted to do a high school build, which me and Trin, I think, was in it. I don't know if Trin was in it. I think, but I was hosting it.
I was asleep.
Yeah, I think she was asleep. I think she had to go during that time. Um, but basically, so basically, me and Maddie, we were like, we grew close overnight because, I'm that type of person. I grow close with almost everybody.
Girl.
Um, so basically, like, me and Maddie, we were like, the best couple type of thing. Um,
I keep falling.
so basically, I was like dating Maddie, I guess like I wasn't dating her around that time. We were just friends. But then a few weeks later, like a few maybe days or so later, we met our little friend Cece, which by the way, she's a part of this video. She's just not here, as you're just gonna want to keep close with this with Cece, okay? So basically, we met Cece. I guess like a day after we met Cece, Maddie texted me talking about something. Oh, I like Cece. I'm like, okay, cool. She was like, oh, well, I don't know how to confess. I'm like, oh, like that's not really my business, because I don't know how to help you with that. That's not my crush type thing. So basically, I'm like, okay, well, that's not really my issue, blah blah, because because she's really not my issue. Because at the time, me and Cece just met. How am I supposed to know what to know about Cece? I didn't know Cece if Cece was bi, all that. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not really my business. So I guess. Well, then she started matching with Cece and stuff. I didn't know if they were serious or not because, with all due respect, I'm not the person to get in people's business. I'm not that type of person. So I'm like, okay, that's not really my business. I ignore it. I don't bother it because I think they're dating at the time. Turns out they were never dating. She would tell Cece she loves her and blah blah. Cece was like just now starting to fall in love with her. Then I guess a day after, I did not know they were not dating or she was talking to Cece at the time. Really, I just thought maybe they were just flirty friends because that happens a lot. So I was like, okay. Basically, a few days. Basically, then Cece, Cece didn't know we were dating. Okay, so I went on a trip, like literally like a 2-day trip right after, getting together with Maddie because I was moving during that time. Maddie knew all about that, and Cece did. And I guess she was doing this while I was on my trip, and I like me during that time. Me and Maddie were together around that time, and I was like, okay, well that was weird, because why are you flirting with two people at once? That's whack, and it's giving really like weird. It's giving, oh, I wanted several people at once. It's giving a player. So I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that, right? Cece told me recently. I'm like, okay, well, this was like yesterday or the start of today. I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know nothing about that for real, because I didn't. Cece was like, oh yeah, well she was flirting with me and blah blah. I'm like, oh, well, if I knew about that, I would have never got with her, you know, because I'm not the type of person to just get with one of my friends' girlfriends, you know. So when I figured that out, I was like, okay, well, at the time, me and her really weren't dating. So it was like, okay, well, she ghosted me, so I'm just gonna ghost her, right? A few weeks later, I talked to her, talking about some, hey, you know, blah blah. We're gonna get into all that situation because it's not really important of this story. Basically, then a while back, basically, Maddie was like, you know, I was just now getting back from my trip around that time, I think. And then, you know, I get straight back. I wasn't able to get straight back into my RPs. So I think she was like in other RPs. I didn't really know. She would tell us that she would hide offline on Discord. So, like, we didn't know when she was online or when she was lying, you know? So it was like, okay, well, you're not online for real. Like, so, like, what are we supposed to do? It's not our business for real. Okay, cool. You know, you're like, it's really not our business, you know? Like, okay, well, you got with Cece, you know, if you like Cece so bad, why would you get with me? You know? Type thing. Because at the time, like, I didn't know she was messing with Cece, nothing. I knew really nothing about her liking Cece. Nothing. Absolutely. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's flirty friends, you know, that can happen a lot. And it's like, okay, well, if that was like the case of like, you know, they're dating, I was like, okay, well, I would have backed down and blah blah. At the time, she stopped talking to Cece, I think. Like, Cece was just starting to like her as well. The next day, I guess, Cece never knew she asked me out. Never. I'm like, oh, that's weird, you know? Because she's my girlfriend and you're like one of her friends. If you're one of her friends, shouldn't you like...
dating someone, you would tell your friends, right?
Right, my point, like, it's like, so, okay, well, you're basically lying and telling people, oh, I'm not this and that. Okay, well, either we're official or we're not, because if we're not official, then I can go on dates with people, right? You know, she's like an overprotective girl. I'm like, okay, well, meanwhile, I'm about to be 15. I don't know. I know Fifi's 14. I know Maddie's 14, or supposedly supposed to be 14. I don't really trust as much as her being 14 because, I mean, yeah, I've seen her face before, but she doesn't look 14. She does look a little younger, or at least like 16. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not really bad because, you know, she's still around my age. It got really weird, like, when... It's just really weird when you're friends with her and then you're like, you know, dating her. It's like, bro, either you're messing with me or not, because like you're ghosting me. I thought maybe dating would have been better because you wouldn't be ghosting as much. But honestly, being friends was a lot better because she wouldn't ghost people. She would at least go play and, you know, hang out, you know. So it's like, okay, either you want to hang out or you don't. I'm like, okay, well, it's like a little weird. So I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm getting a little, like, you know, creeped out. So it's like, okay, well, then I'm going to just stop playing with her, you know. I'm just going to leave her alone. I'm going to stop bothering her, you know, all that. Basically, you know, I leave her alone, you know. Okay, basically, we do that. You know, fast forward recently, I text her about her bio because one of my friends, aka my brother, told me about her bio being changed. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at it, you know. Her bio was saying, oh, she probably don't like me like that. I'm like, okay, well, who are you talking about? She's like, oh, nobody. Oh, I'm like, okay, well, sure, you know. Because, oh, I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, oh, yeah, what are you talking about? And why is everybody saying we broke up? I said, because your bio. She's like, what about my bio? And I'm like, well, it says, you probably don't even, probably don't even like me like that. She's like, she comes up with a lie talking about some, oh, that's my my sister did that, but she would be mad if I changed it. I'm like, oh, well, oh, you know? Because, for starters, if it's your account, why would your sister get mad over you changing it? It's like your account. You can change it whenever. So it's like, that's just one red flag, the start of a red flag for me. I'm like, it's like, no. And then you're talking about some, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. We know what you did. We clearly can see like you, being a little weird and getting a little like, just distant from everybody. Like the GC had not heard from you in weeks, but you've been on Roblox hanging out with people that nobody has heard of, and we could be cheating. I haven't been on Roblox as much unless I'm like filming. That's like my main thing to do on Roblox because Roblox gets boring time to time. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't play Roblox as much. I'm mostly on TikTok or something or watching YouTube. Okay. Well, meanwhile, fast forward, she had my TikTok. She never ever texted me on it. Like, but she's always on it. And she's like, oh, well, I'm grounded. Well, if you're grounded, why are you always on TikTok? That doesn't really make sense to me, right? She'll be like, oh, well, this and that. Like, I can clearly see you're making up a lie. Just tell me the truth. Like, you don't, this and that. We don't have to deal with this, but like at least tell the truth about something. Like that's a little weird talking about some this and that. I just this and that. Like it's weird when you're telling people that because we all know you're lying about it. It's like okay, then if you're gonna lie about it, at least be a little clearer. Like okay, well that's a little obvious that you're lying. So I'm like okay, well I know you're lying. Blah. I'm gonna like show you the photos because I'm not looking at the photos of like what she said exactly. I know like she was like oh well that was my sister and blah like so at first this all started June 11th when she literally said she was gonna put me in her bio as my love. I was like okay cool. I went ahead and text Trin about it because I never knew. I was just a little weirded out because we weren't that close to being my loves.
Like being fake.
Right, like it was like just really weird at the time. And then when we do start being my loves, you ghost me. It's like, I don't really trust that. If you're gonna ghost then no.
For me, like if one of my friends would put me in their bio as my love, I need to at least know them for like a year or like 5 or like a couple months if I like really get to know them.
Right, like it's like okay, cool. Like, I have never had one of my friends just put me as they're my loves because, my best friends are like my best friends. They've never been anything more. All of a sudden, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to put you in my bio as that. Meanwhile, we've only known each other for a few weeks during that time. I'm like, okay, cool. Because at the same time, like I said, I've only known her for a few weeks. Meanwhile, this is like the end of my school year. I'm like, okay, cool. Because, that was the end of my school year. I didn't know anything about it. So, like, I didn't care much about it because I was always on. At the time, I was going to always be on. But when I moved, it was like, oh, well, I'm going to change, I'm going to not be posting as much, So, like, and stuff, So, like, it's like, what are you talking about? This and that. And, then why are you matching with my friend while I'm on a trip? So, you're talking about some, this and that. But when my friend says, can you explain please, you leave GCs, you do all that. You do not tell anybody why you're arguing with us or anything. Like, we just want a full truth on like why you're doing this and blah. You're like, you don't want to respond, you don't want to text, you don't want to do none of that. You unfriend everybody on Roblox, on Discord, all of that to like the point where we can't contact you. So like I'm gonna put up some Discord messages we had with each other and the ones I put on my alt that because at the time she still had me added. Okay, basically at the time she still had me added on my alt. So I was like, okay. I thought you're just proving into people's points and blah blah, because you are. You literally told people, oh, you didn't do none of that, but you're just feeding into their points, by doing that. Like, it's weird. And then you're talking about this and that, and then you block people, you leave their servers. Just give them a normal explanation. Okay, you don't want to be with them anymore. That's not that hard. All right, you don't have to leave them on.
Or like you have feelings for someone else, but you don't have them anymore for that one person. Like
it's not that hard. Like okay, you told Cece you loved her. You really never told me that. Like you've told me that like 3 times. I don't know how many times you've told Cece that you gave her a nickname, never gave me one. You match with Cece, never match with me. It's like, okay, so you like Cece more. Then why are you with me for real? Are you trying to make Cece jealous? Are you using me? Or what? Because I spent Robux on her and all that. Like, Trink can tell you. So basically, I bought Robux, because I had money at the time. She was like, oh, well, you should give me some. I'm like, okay, sure. I gave her 50, because I'm not going to give you all my Robux.
Yeah.
She was like, Ty, She's like, oh, well, I only got 35 out of all of 50. Roblox takes some of your percentage. You have to realize. I'm like, okay, well, you're not going to get that all. So it's like, okay, well, I want my Robux and blah, blah. Like, what? You're not going to do that. Like, I paid for your thing. I gave you all that. And, you're going to go behind my back and looks like you're cheating, really. It really does. And you'll be like, oh, I'm not doing all of that. Like, it kind of looks like you are. And then you're, like, getting real defensive anytime someone brings it up. It's like
kind of obvious.
Right, it's obvious you're cheating or something. You're holding a secret. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to be so rude, Like, I don't want to be rude about it. Because at the same time, why am I going to be rude about it, She's like,
we're still dating her.
Right, at the time I was still dating her, because it wasn't as much red flags. There was really only one at the time. Then more and more started piling up while we were like, getting closer,
Any red flags?
It was giving the distance, the, Robux, all of that. Because
cheating, but still wants you.
Right, and it's giving using you as well. Because why the moment I get Robux, that's all you care about. You're talking about something. Oh, well, you should give me some. Like, I wanted to spend that on myself.
Ghosted.
Like, right after I gave her the Robux, it was really just a shift change. Stop talking to us. Stop, all of that. It's like, okay, well, what I think I'm gonna do, everybody, I'm not gonna give you all the details in this video, as some of them are like really not allowed for YouTube, or some stuff like I just want to wait to do. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it in a part 2, especially because of how late it is. But I really hope y'all enjoy episode 1 of this, possibly. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on all of this. If you're in my Discord server, you can stay notified and all of that. I cannot wait for all of everything. I'm gonna put up her Discord user, her Roblox user, all of that. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Bye, lovelies.
Bye, lovelies.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, by the way. Now, bye.
Discord server in the description.
Yep.